Pour yourself a cold one and join us for an hour filled to the brim with fun.
It hurts in my ears right now.
Entertainment.
Cheeky, bang, bang.
Information.
I need some water and a washcloth.
And a little weirdness.
Can I be a duck? Yeah, I don't think they want me to be a duck.
It's Happy Hour with DJ Kyle.
Hey, and welcome to Happy Hour. I'm your host, DJ Kyle. Welcome to Lake TV. We have a fantastic show lined up for you. But first, I want to say thanks to my sponsors that make all of this happen. Ozark Barge and Dock, thank you for your support of Happy Hour. Our veterinary, thank you for keeping all of our pets and animals happy and healthy. Also, we have Surdike Yamaha. I'm super excited about our off-road adventure that we're going to be taking here in a couple weeks, so stay tuned for our Surdike Yamaha year-round fun. Also, thanks to American Elm Company for all the fantastic decorations here on our set. And I want to say thanks to Ozarks Amphitheater, our exclusive attraction of Happy Hour. And I'm super excited because on the show today, we have Tom and Mary Kay from the Ozarks Amphitheater going to be telling us a little bit about how they got to where they are now. Super excited to hear about that. And we're going to be learning about the Missouri Mule today with our good friend, Professor Jim Paisley. We have a great show. We also have a dog named Beetlejuice on the show today. That's right, a dog named Beetlejuice, and they are brought to us by our veterinary, but I can't say any more about that dog's name, if you know what I mean. You can only say it twice, right? All of that and so much more right here on Happy Hour. Welcome to the funnest hour on Lake TV.
Breaking Benjamin, live in concert in Camdenton, with special guests Bush and Another Day Dawns. See them live at Ozarks Amphitheater, May 11th. Get tickets now at ozarksamp.com. For more, visit breakingbenjamin.com. Get tickets now.
Want a dock that will withstand the wake from a million boats? Want a dock that's different from the usual dock? Then you want Ozark Barge and Dock in Gravois Mills. Ozark Barge and Dock now celebrating 35 years of building the best dock on Lake of the Ozarks. And we guarantee every dock we build. So when it comes time to build your custom dock, trust the best and go with Ozark Barge and Dock, building the best dock at the lake for the last 35 years.
If it's happening at the lake, it's happening on Lake TV. From the Polar Plunge to festivals parades, Aquapalooza, and boat shows, Lake TV has it all. Even the granddaddy of them all, the shootouts. If you're looking for places to party, things to do, or even a new home to move into, you've gotta love Lake TV.
Ozarks Amphitheater, the exclusive attraction of Happy Hour. You're going to want to mark your calendars. We have Thursday, May 11th, Breaking Benjamin, special guest Bush, and Another Day Dawns. Also coming up Friday, June 16th, mark your calendar again, it's the Avett Brothers with special guest Government Mule. You can find out more about Ozarks Amphitheater and all of their tickets and get your tickets today at ozarksamp.com.
Your furry friends are more than pets, they're family, and at our veterinary, we understand that. With multiple locations, we can service your pets when and where you need it. Our team of professionals offer routine wellness, orthopedic care from broken bones to joint repair, and even emergency services. We are ready to welcome your pet to our family with medical or preventative care. Our veterinary, with 6 convenient locations, the team providing exceptional care for your pet when and where you need it.
Want a dock that will withstand the wake from a million boats? Want a dock that's different from the usual dock? Then you want Ozark Barge and Dock in Gravois Mills. Ozark Barge and Dock now celebrating 35 years of building the best dock on Lake of the Ozarks. And we guarantee every dock we build. So when it comes time to build your custom dock, trust the best and go with Ozark Barge and Dock, building the best dock at the lake for the last 35 years.
Welcome back to Happy Hour. I'm your host, DJ Kyle, and we have two of the probably some of the hardest working people at Lake of the Ozarks. We have Mary Kay and Tom here from Ozarks Amphitheater in Camdenton, Missouri. And man, let me tell you, the lineup that we already have for this year is absolutely spectacular. Now, I do have to let you know, Ozarks Amphitheater is our exclusive attraction of Happy Hour. And I want to know, I've been around the lake for quite a while, and again, happy that you guys are on the show today, but I want to know, how did the Ozarks Amphitheater get to where it is now? Because I've seen it go through, a building, and it would open up, and then they would have some acts, and then it closed down, and then sold, or then someone else bought it, and then the city owned or the county owned it or whatever. And there's been some great concerts out there through many years, but now it's just a thriving amphitheater. How did we get to this point today? Who wants to take that?
Well, you're right. There's many facets to this story from its inception in 1993 when it was built as Stone Ridge Amphitheater. And I'm from the lake area, born and raised in the Eldon area. So I was familiar with it. My mom went to the first concert here in 1993.
Oh, cool.
So, they had the who's who of country music, and she was a country music fan. But as it's made its way through it, 2 different ownerships and then sat vacant for many years.
Yeah.
The Crossover Christian Music Festival happened there for 10 or 11 years in a row, and we think it's single-handedly responsible for keeping the place above ground.
Hey,
at one time,
I emceed those shows.
At one time, the county was thinking about bulldozing, owned it, and was thinking about knocking it all down and making it available for building houses and stuff. So Crossover, by doing it every year, kept it viable. So we owe a lot of debt of gratitude to the Crossover folks. And then, how it became available under its current ownership was really happenstance. The principal ownership group were from the Denver area. One worked for the city of Denver, Parks and Recreation, and ran Red Rocks and Mile High Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
The other side of the equation had the concessions contracts at Red Rocks.
Yeah,
so,
Red Rocks, for those of you that don't know, Red Rocks is a huge amphitheater.
It is.
It's like a natural stone looking.
Yes.
It's just a beautiful
It's
place.
Red Rocks.
Yeah, it's red. And
It's literally one of the must-play area venues on any artist list. The Hollywood Bowl, the Gorge Amphitheater in Washington State, and Red Rocks are all, you have to do it.
And soon to be Ozarks Amphitheater.
And soon to be Ozarks Amphitheater. That's
Yes.
that is one of our goals. Yeah, we want to be one of the go-to places.
Yeah.
And so Bill and Robert, principal owners, had the concessions contracts at Red Rock. Michael's on the other side of the contract, from the city of Denver. So they worked together for 10 years and had the first liquor license brought to Red Rock. So they were able to sell beer at the concerts and, became a very lucrative business. When it came back up for rebid, they got beat out by another national conglomerate of concessionaires. So, they were without that aspect of their business. About that time, the Ozarks Amphitheater was going up for auction, from the ownership group, from the owners at that time. Robert saw it on the internet, sent it to Bill. It's like, why don't we just own our own amphitheater?
Perfect timing, right?
They can't push us. They can't push us out of the contract, out of the concessions contract if we own it.
If we own it, yeah.
So
there you go.
the pinnacle of that was Bill. It was in Camdenton, Missouri. Which if you're in Colorado, you may not have ever heard of Camdenton, Missouri. But Bill, being in the knick-knack business and a lot of tourist attractions in the Colorado area, fourth generation concessionaire. He had bought boxes from Blair Cedar here in Camdenton.
No way. What a small world, right?
So he called his contact at Blair Cedar and was like, tell me about this amphitheater you guys have got down there. So he got the full story, the good, the bad, and the ugly about it, decided that it was a challenge that he might want to undertake. So him and Robert flew down to Kansas City, rented a car, came down, looked at the property, looked at the area, previewed everything, knew it was going to be a mountain of work. The place had sat vacant at least for 5 years since the recession of 2008, and this was early 2013.
The raccoons had moved in.
Raccoons had moved in. I think there was some.
Just a raccoon apartment complex at this point, right?
Some transient population may have been living backstage. The weeds, they said, were about 6 feet tall in the grass seating area.
Wow.
So they decided that might be worth undertaking. Came back for the actual auction, and Bill, again, just the vibe that he got, he sat in the seats. He goes, I'm not getting up till I own it.
Wow.
And so he was the high bidder. That was in end of 2013. They came back in 14 in the spring, started revamping the place, redid the backstage, mowed grass, cleaned out septic systems, did everything. They did the groundwork and the grunt work to everything and got it ready to go. Started booking shows for 2015. Then about January of 2015, I think this lovely lady came into the picture, and I'll let her tell you that story.
Actually, it was September
Oh.
of 2014, and I was new to the area. I'm originally from Missouri, but was living in Minnesota, had just moved down to the beautiful Lake of the Ozarks, and wasn't quite sure where I was going to land. One day drove in Pier 31 and saw the Ozarks Amphitheater sign, and I was like, oh my God, there's an amphitheater here. So had been living with a friend, and I was like, why didn't you tell me there was an amphitheater? And they were like, oh, that's because there was an amphitheater. So, it's just one of those things where curiosity killed the cat. And so I had my son with me that day, and we were like, I'm going to go see it. We're going to go see it. So, we went through some gates. And I pulled into the backstage, and I've said this before. It's like, when I got to see the view of the seats and realized that it was a real amphitheater, it was like, oh my God. Because, you're thinking you're at the Lake of the Ozarks or the Ozarks, so there'll be like a wooden stage, maybe bench seating.
Hay bales or something like that.
Yeah. So got out on stage, sang the national anthem. The acoustics blew me away. And it was there that I said I had my Oprah Winfrey moment where I was like, I need to be here, and I need to be a part of this.
I thought it was your Oprah Winfrey moment where you were giving out cars to everyone. I was like,
I
wish I was there.
Well, it would have been great because it was all empty seats.
Oh, gotcha. Didn't cost me a dime. So you had your moment where you were like, this
I
is
need to
where
figure
I
out
need
what's
to be.
going on because I need to be a part of this. So went home, did all my research, and then contacted Trish Creech with the chamber. She got me Bill's contact information, so I sent Bill an introductory email. We started emailing back and forth, and then they came to the property in January. I met with them, and the rest is history.
And everyone knows you too. Everyone around the Lake of the Ozarks, we talk about no matter where I go, these two are showing up, whether it be a social event or just out for lunch. Everyone knows you, and what you guys have done for the amphitheater here at Lake of the Ozarks is just spectacular. Tell us about like some of the new things that are going on right now, because we already know there's so many great acts that are coming in this year. What are some of the new things that are actually on land that are going right now?
For a second, I thought he was going to accuse us of stalking him.
Everywhere I go, you guys are just showing up. What's going on here?
Well, a lot of the, and if you've driven past the amphitheater anytime in the last 6 months, you've seen we're expanding our parking capacity. We've added another 400 spots of parking. we've always been limited to the number of seats we could sell by how many cars we could park.
Yeah.
And as we get bigger acts and we have sellout shows, and we don't want to deny anybody the ability to come and watch a great show at the amphitheater, so we have expanded parking on our own property. So we've added that. We're going to open up all 4 entry gates into the bowl, into the venue this year. In years past, we've just had really 2. Last year, with the expansion of some stuff, we added a 3rd gate on bigger shows just to help get people in and out faster. Because now we're bringing in good talent. We've got great acoustics. We've got great people that work with us, and the agents and the artists love coming to the venue. We want the fans to enjoy all of that as well, and we think we've done a very good job. We get a lot of good reviews on that, but we're always looking at how do we just keep stepping up the game. And so we want to get people in quicker, and we want to get people out quicker.
Yeah.
So by expanding parking, opening up all 4 gates to be able to get people in, you'll be standing in line less, you'll be setting in line less with your parking, and then there's 3 ways in and 5 ways out. So we're working on being able to get everybody out just as fast as we can get them in.
Nice.
We're going to have a preferred parking area, so you can pay to park closer if you want to. That's some of the latitude that we have by expanding parking. So we'll have 2 different areas depending on which gate that you come in, that you can pay a little extra online. You can buy it online. We don't charge to park, so you can still park for free. But if you want to park close, if you want to come late, but still be able to not have to walk so far, or you want to get in late and leave early, you're right there close to your car. So we'll have those. We'll have that announcement as the pay to park stuff coming out in the next couple of weeks. Along with, we got 4 more concert announcements over the next 3 weeks.
Nice.
To do. So,
oh, I'm excited.
Those are just, the parking expansion is our big thing for this year, and the opening of gates, and we've got a new construction project that'll be starting in April, so we're going to add a sponsors deck. We call it the Skybox.
Oh, nice.
That we're going to be adding to. That'll be done by July 1st is my deadline to have that open for some of the later shows. So we're doing a lot of things at the Ozarks Amphitheater this year, but we've moved a lot of ground and brought in a lot of rock, and hopefully the parking experience will be much better.
Well, I can't wait to see all of the new acts that are coming. Where can people go and find the schedule of events? Because we're booking acts so much that I can't even keep up with it on my schedule. I'm just keep putting them in.
We can't either sometimes. Used to, when we had 5 shows a year, no problem. Whenever
you can kind of go, okay, well, out of those 5, I think I'd like to go to these 3 or whatever.
We've got 15 announced so far, and there are probably another 8 or 10 to go. So it's packing in there.
So they can get tickets online?
Yes,
get
at
the schedule online?
OzarksAmp.com. That's the safest place for you to get tickets because it takes you directly to our ticketing agent, which is Ticketmaster. We find if you try to Google the artist and say Camdenton, Missouri, or Google Ozarks Amphitheater, chances of you unfortunately getting picked up by a scalper are pretty huge. Yeah, and with all of the inflated ticket prices that you have, and just for the simple fact that since you didn't buy those tickets from us, can't really guarantee that ticket that you actually have a ticket. So OzarksAmp.com, the safest place to get a ticket. Or if you don't like those ticketing fees and you live local or you just happen to be in town, you can get your tickets at Bridal Cave or Split Arrow Boutique.
Oh, I am so thankful that you guys were able to come in here and tell us a little bit about the season. I'm excited about all of the new things, the new announcements of the bands and everything that's coming up. It's Ozarks Amphitheater, the exclusive attraction of Happy Hour. Again, get those tickets online. You're not going to want to miss a moment of the action that's happening at the Ozarks Amphitheater this year. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Mary Kay, for coming on today.
Pleasure.
And you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.
We're gonna.
Let's do it.
Breaking Benjamin, live in concert in Camdenton, with special guests Bush and Another Day Dawns. See them live at Ozarks Amphitheater, May 11th. Get tickets now at OzarksAmp.com. For more, visit BreakingBenjamin.com. Get tickets now.
Your furry friends are more than pets, they're family. And at our veterinary, we understand that. With multiple locations, we can service your pets when and where you need it. Our team of professionals offer routine wellness, orthopedic care from broken bones to joint repair, and even emergency services. We are ready to welcome your pet to our family with medical or preventative care. Our veterinary, with 6 convenient locations, the team providing exceptional care for your pet when and where you need it.
If it's happening at the lake, it's happening on Lake TV. From the polar plunge to festivals parades, Aquapalooza, and boat shows, Lake TV has it all. Even the granddaddy of them all, the shootouts. If you're looking for places to party, things to do, or even a new home to move into, you've gotta love Lake TV.
Want a dock that will withstand the wake from a million boats? Want a dock that's different from the usual dock? Then you want Ozark Barge and Dock in Gravois Mills. Ozark Barge and Dock now celebrating 35 years of building the best dock on Lake of the Ozarks. And we guarantee every dock we build. So when it comes time to build your custom dock, trust the best and go with Ozark Barge and Dock, building the best dock at the lake for the last 35 years.
Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all. We think it's hot stuff when things cool down. We spring into action when things start warming up. Of course, summer is one big, huge shootout on Lake TV. And we fall in love all over again when autumn rolls around. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all.
Your furry friends are more than pets, they're family. And at our veterinary, we understand that. With multiple locations, we can service your pets when and where you need it. Our team of professionals offer routine wellness, orthopedic care from broken bones to joint repair, and even emergency services. We are ready to welcome your pet to our family with medical or preventative care. Our veterinary, with 6 convenient locations, the team providing exceptional care for your pet when and where you need it.
Welcome back to Happy Hour. I'm your host, DJ Kyle. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have my good friend, Professor Jim Paisley. Jim, thank you so much for coming on today. I was telling you a little bit ago that I am so thankful that we have these segments because I get to learn so much about history and Missouri and what all we have to offer here. And so today you're going to be teaching us all a little bit about the Missouri Mule, is that right?
Right.
Can we make a segment, a 10, 12-minute segment about a mule?
You know me, I could go on for hours. But yeah, there's plenty to talk about. And, you know, it is our state animal, the Missouri Mule.
Yeah.
You know, and what's interesting is you have to ask yourself the first question. What is a mule, right? Because, I mean, we've seen them. Right? I'm sure we've all seen them somewhere.
I would always get confused, a donkey and a mule. I just kind of thought they were the same thing, growing up.
The mule is quite the beast. It's a lot bigger, a lot stronger, sure-footed like a goat, I mean, it's absolutely an amazing creature when you look at it.
Okay.
But what a history. I mean, it's just unbelievable, the history behind the Missouri mules. And I thought first thing we do is define what a mule is, okay? Now, you're going to hear two terms, mules and hennies. You ever hear of hennies before?
I have. I think, isn't that like the Warrensburg, like the...
Yeah, you know, the mules and the hennies, right? Now, mules and hennies are similar because they're both a cross between a horse and a donkey. Okay? So those are two critters you start with. And because they're so similar, the terms mule and henny are actually interchangeable. You'll hear people in certain parts of the state refer to mules as hennies.
Okay.
But basically the same critter. The big difference is that a mule, the dad is a donkey, okay? And the mom is a horse. Now on a henny, it's just the opposite. The dad is a horse
and
the mom's the donkey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Okay.
Now, do they look any different? Like if you were to
Not really.
see one or the
yeah,
other? Okay,
I mean,
they're both built
see
the
them
same?
Built about the same,
Okay.
yeah. But that's really the only difference, okay? Now, here's what's absolutely amazing about the state of Missouri. I mean, we were the mule capital of the world.
Wow.
Okay? And it started all the way back with George Washington, and we'll talk about that. But let's go to the 1900s, because that's where it really boomed for us. Big business. Now, in the early 1900s, there's a little town up north. It's just to the east of St. Joe, Missouri, and it's called Lathrop, Missouri. And it became the mule capital of the world. Capital of the world.
Missouri.
Lathrop, Missouri.
Okay.
Now, the thing is there's these two guys that go up there, and they formed a firm called Guyton and Harrington. And they're the first ones here in Missouri to start raising these mules. And it was a big business. Now, bear in mind, 1900, they had 300 employees. All right.
Oh, wow.
Now, they picked a great place because it was on, if any of you have traveled northern Missouri, you know it's flat as can be. And that's where the first railroad ran. It ran from Hannibal to St. Joe. And everything traveled along that rail line. The reason why they built it there was flat. You didn't have to bust through a lot of hills.
Yeah.
There weren't a whole lot of bridges to build and all. And so they built this business there on the rail line, okay? Because they figured, well, if we got all these mules, we're going to have to figure out a way to ship them, all right? And they had 3 mule barns up there. Each of them had 65,000 square feet.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
1900, can you imagine building a 65,000 square foot building?
That's
a
big.
monster. Yeah. I'm going to have to refer to my notes because there's a lot of numbers here, all right? Each one of the barns held 1,000 mules. So at any given point, they have 3,000 mules up there. They also had a 496-foot long hay barn. So this is a big operation for that day. Now, they started out, they had a contract with the British military. The British, of all people. And their job was to supply the British with mules for both the Boer War, which was fought in Africa, and also for World War I. Now, the thing is, these mules, like I say, can pull a ton of weight.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And they're very sure-footed. They can operate in areas where horses and oxen, et cetera, just can't. They're great in the mountains. They're great in jungles. They're really stout animals.
They don't get sick like a lot of the other animals might.
Exactly. So these guys set up this business. Now, this Lathrop was just a little small stop on the southern spur of this Hannibal-St. Joe line. And back then, you had all these little stops along the way, these little towns, and they would spring up because they had steam locomotives. And every so many miles, you had to stop and take on water.
Okay.
And so wherever you had one of those water stops, that's where you usually wound up having a little town spring up. Okay, and it all centered around that railroad, all right? Now, the thing is, the business got so big, and it was shipping so many mules, that the rail lines would have to literally stop. And as they pulled cars off the tracks, it would back the rails up. And at one point, they were backing up the rails all the way to Leavenworth, Kansas.
Oh, wow.
From Lathrop, Missouri.
Just everyone just in line.
Everybody's sitting there waiting. Yeah, well, I guess they're loading mules up ahead somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is like I say, these mules were interesting in that they could transport ammunition and supplies, artillery pieces, you name it, they could do it. They also, used them for carts that they pulled for wounded soldiers in the battles, any kind of food supplies or anything. Like I say, these things were some kind of heavy-duty beast of burden, if you will. Now, in addition to the armed services, they were commonplace on farms. Farmers found out real quick that a mule can pull an iron plow almost effortlessly compared to what an oxen or a horse could do. So again, they were in high demand, all right? Now, mules were also employed in hauling ore. Now, those of you out there that are as old as I am, you can remember something called 20 Mule Team Borax. Now, that was it was on all the TV commercials, and it was a laundry detergent. And their commercials showed this 20 Mule team pulling this wagon. And what happened was out west, of all places, Death Valley, that ought to tell you how tough these mules were. They used mules where they mined borax. And borax was used for all sorts of different things, but it also could be used for detergents
Detergent
and
cleaners,
and basically, they had them out in Death Valley, California, and they had to drag these the borax in these wagons 165 miles to California to get it onto ships to ship it out. Now, basically, the trip later went into Mojave, California, the Mojave Desert. The same thing. These mules are pulling these things, and I thought, man, I wonder how big those were. Well, the ore cars themselves that the mules pulled weighed 7,800 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, almost 8,000 pounds these things are pulling. So that's a beast, you know.
Yeah.
And again, they picked them simply because they had so much strength and their veracity. They were able to they just kept going.
Yeah.
All right. So
nothing stopped them.
Yeah. It'd be like today wanting the top of the line SUV. That's what it was, basically. Right.
The Mule.
Yeah,
Missouri's
exactly.
top of the line SUV.
Right. Now, what was interesting is they would hook these things together. Okay. These cars together, and when loaded, the total weight came out about 73,000 pounds, and they'd hook up a 20 mule team
to
drag these.
Drag all of those.
Yeah.
Wow.
73,000 pounds, so you can imagine. Now, here's the thing. Lathrop, this little town, like I say, they first organized as a town in February of 1869, so just right after the Civil War. And the major railroads were what attracted people to come to Lathrop, all right? And this guy, Mr. Guyton and Mr. Harrington, they operated a horse and mule farm, and it started its operations all the way back in 1891, all right? And at one time, it was known as the largest pack mule production farm in existence, okay? And that's when it became the mule capital of the world.
Yeah.
All right?
Way to go, Missouri.
Yeah. Now, like I say, during the Boer War, the British had contracted with these guys up there to ship them these mules. And during the Boer War alone, which, like I say, took place all down in Africa in 1901 and 1902, they bought 170,000 mules.
Oh, wow.
170,000 of them.
And they all got shipped via railroad?
Yep, shipped via railroad,
Wow.
shipped them back east, and then loaded them onto boats and shipped them to Africa.
My goodness.
I know. So, again, and I've got a few pictures that hopefully will pop up on here showing you the rail yards with just, it's beyond comprehension how many mules are there. It's just...
Yeah,
you think,
I can't even
wow.
imagine, wrap my mind around that.
You have a hard time herding, what, 3 cats and a goat in the
Yeah,
morning.
exactly. That's right.
So, yeah, it's pretty wild. Now, another 90,000 mules were shipped from Missouri during World War I. And again, it was because they found out that they were able to use these mules to go places nowhere else, nothing else could drag it there.
Yeah.
And true, they started to get mechanized in World War I with the tanks and everything, but even a tank can only go certain places. But mules, you needed it,
Yep.
here it came. So mules were really valuable, very valuable, okay? Now, the facilities at Lathrop were able to feed and support 17,000 mules at a time. You probably got up and fed your critters this morning, right?
Yeah, I don't have 17,000 though.
That would
I couldn't imagine.
It'd be a pretty busy day.
That would be
wouldn't
a
it?
very busy
right,
day.
Exactly. The barns, they expanded them. They expanded the barns up to 62,000 square feet, which, and again, you're thinking 1901 to build a building that big. I mean, this was huge, absolutely huge, all right? And then think of the logistics of having to bring in hay and feed for these things.
Yeah.
Hard to comprehend. And like I say, it would tie up the railroad tracks for miles in every direction. You know, and some of you have ridden a train before, have sat on the side while the freight train goes by.
Yep.
You can imagine what it was like back then.
Oh yeah, forever. That's
especially
a lot
during the war.
A lot of mules to load.
Right. Now, it's kind of interesting in that these mules not only were used in the Boer War, but prior to that, they were used in the Mexican-American War in the mid-1840s. The U.S. Army used them. And basically, the U.S. Army, one of their symbols is the Missouri Mule.
Really?
Yeah. So again,
Very
you know,
interesting.
we were pretty famous, right? They also used them in the Spanish-American War. Teddy Roosevelt and his, you know, San Juan Hill and all. And you see these guys on horses? No. They were on mules.
They're on
dudes.
mules, yeah.
You know, I mean, that was the thing. You know, who wants a horse when you can have a mule, right? The Union quartermaster during the Civil War purchased over 76,000 mules. Okay, so these mules have been around for a while, all right? And the mules were used particularly at Chattanooga and also in Sherman's famous March to the Sea. You know, they always show them on horses. No, mules.
They're on mules.
Hey, that's what they're using to get there, you know. In 1864 alone, just 1864, the Union Army purchased 87,000 mules. So this is a big business here in Missouri. In the World Wars, again, mules were called to active duty. And so, you know, again, this was the preferred livestock to have. Okay, and again, they will go where nothing else can go. All right, and they carried food, they carried supplies, ammunition. They could pull, you know, cannons behind them. You name it. You can imagine if they can, one of them can pull a wagon of 7,800 pounds. That's a pretty handy critter to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Now, what's interesting I found is that in World War II we were still using mules. All right, and primarily in the mountainous regions and in the jungles in the Pacific. Because again, a mule can go places nothing else can, and they're hardy. They aren't going to be as inclined to sickness, okay? And for that reason, we have to ship these mules out of here and get them there. And one of the primary targets for our enemies with their submarines was to hit transport ships that were filled with mules.
Really?
Because they knew if they took it out, it would cripple our supply lines.
Wow.
So they were a prized target, to say the least. Now, World War I, as I said, was the last major war that we used them, but we used them all the way up to and including our involvement in Afghanistan recently.
Really?
Yes. The military.
So they're still, mules are still in use?
Mules are still used. We have Army units that are still using them simply because of where they can go.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
That is amazing.
Yeah. Now, basically, we also saw them used during World War II in Japan or in China. When China was fighting against Japan, we shipped mules to China. And again, that mountainous regions, perfect, absolutely perfect. When the Soviet Union was in Afghanistan fighting the Afghans, and we were supporting the Afghans, we shipped the Afghans mules so that they could transport equipment and men and weapons and ammunition, etc. And I found some other interesting tidbits here. The mules have been used for all kinds of things. They used them to build roadways, telegraph and telephone lines, dams and canals. Again, this is a big, heavy pack animal. They also helped at the Panama Canal. Again, this is Missouri.
Nothing they can't do.
Missouri, you know, it's amazing when you think about it. They helped build the Erie Canal, and after it was done, the Erie Canal is just like a little creek, folks, and you had a flat bottom boat, and what they did is they had little gravel roads on either side, and they ran lines to the animals that would pull the thing through. Mules were used for that.
Wow.
So again, you know, everywhere you looked, mules were used, of all things. My football fans out there, they helped to build the Rose Bowl. in Pasadena.
Really?
So everywhere I look, there's a Missouri Mule.
That is really neat.
And the final tidbit I have for you that I found fascinating is, okay, how did they get here?
Yeah.
How did this start, right? Well, of all things, George Washington. That's right, George Washington. He was the first guy to breed mules in the United States of America.
Wow.
And what was fascinating is that they had mules in Spain, but Spain had a restriction. You couldn't ship the donkeys and the breeding stock to the U.S. because they wanted a monopoly.
They wanted to corner the market.
Yeah, exactly.
I see.
And George kept pestering the King of Spain, saying, dude, come on, And finally, the King of Spain turned around and sent breeding stock, the 2 or 3 donkeys, to George Washington, and there at his farm, he bred the first mules, which eventually became our Missouri.
Our Missouri Mule. So you see the effects of it everywhere.
Yeah.
Panama Canal, the Rose Bowl, all these different things, and the wars, and all of them can trace back to the Missouri Mule. I think that's really cool.
Right. Yeah, and like I say, it became big industry even before it got to Missouri, where these guys figured it out, where there was a lot of money. By 1808, from the time Washington had started breeding his mules, by 1808, the United States had an estimated 855,000 mules in the U.S., and they had a value of $66 million.
Wow.
So big industry, folks. And again, the last show we talked about apples, and the contribution Missouri made. This one here, I couldn't pass this up, especially knowing your love for animals and all. Now somebody needs to get him a mule.
Yeah, we have a donkey, but now we just need to have a mule on our land.
Because he's the expert.
Jim, thank you so much for coming in here and teaching us about this. And I love this because no matter where I go, next time I see a mule up on a billboard or hear Missouri Mule, I'm going to remember that the Missouri Mule played a big role in everything that we see today.
Well, and like I say, I think what'll really set you back, I think we have a picture that we'll be able to share. John Wayne on a mule.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So saddle up your mules. Let's have more of Happy Hour coming up. How about that?
There you go. Sounds
Jim,
good, buddy.
thank you so much for coming out today. More of Happy Hour coming up right here on Lake TV.
Want a dock that will withstand the wake from a million boats? Want a dock that's different from the usual dock? Then you want Ozark Barge and Dock in Gravois Mills. Ozark Barge and Dock now celebrating 35 years of building the best dock on Lake of the Ozarks. And we guarantee every dock we build. So when it comes time to build your custom dock, trust the best and go with Ozark Barge and Dock, building the best dock at the lake for the last 35 years.
Ozarks Amphitheater, the exclusive attraction of Happy Hour. You're going to want to mark your calendars. We have Thursday, May 11th, Breaking Benjamin, special guest Bush, and Another Day Dawns. Also coming up Friday, June 16th. Mark your calendar again. It's the Avett Brothers with special guest Government Mule. You can find out more about Ozarks Amphitheater and all of their tickets and get your tickets today at ozarksamp.com.
Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all. We think it's hot stuff when things cool down. We spring into action when things start warming up. Of course, summer is one big, huge shootout on Lake TV. And we fall in love all over again when autumn rolls around. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all.
Hey, don't miss our cup of coffee from Slumberland at the lake this week. We talk about a local bridge that's been saved.
Saving some history, man. And Home Depot does some kids' workshops on the weekend. They're really cool.
Yeah, we went. We'll tell you all about those. Plus the Magic Dragon Trails. We have Stacy Pirtle in to talk about all of their efforts.
And of course, it's Easter. So what is the importance of Easter? We'll talk about that too.
Your furry friends are more than pets, they're family. And at our veterinary, we understand that. With multiple locations, we can service your pets when and where you need it. Our team of professionals offer routine wellness, orthopedic care from broken bones to joint repair, and even emergency services. We are ready to welcome your pet to our family with medical or preventative care. Our veterinary, with 6 convenient locations, the team providing exceptional care for your pet when and where you need it. Welcome to another Furry Friends presented by our veterinary here on Lake TV. I'm Megan Albers. This is Mary Meow Me Tilly. And today's dog is fantastic. His name is Beetlejuice. We'll say it. There we go. Beetlejuice. There we go. We've said it 3 times. He'll show up eventually. He's super fun. Tell me about Beetlejuice.
So Beetlejuice is, we usually don't say that a dog is purebred, but we are inclined to believe that he is a border collie and not necessarily a mix like we usually say. Beetlejuice came into us in October. He's been here this whole time because he was being treated for heartworms. Okay. And that's, as we discussed a while back with Beatrix, that's a long process. Yeah. Fortunately, it didn't take as long with him as it did with Bee, because we got started with everything right away. We think that he is about 3 years old when he came in, so which would make him about 3.5 now. Okay. And the strange thing of it is, he came in from the same general area as Beatrix did.
Oh, really?
So somewhere he was found on Highway 5 between Lebanon and Decaturville. Okay. And so was Bee. And so if you are in that area and you have dogs, you may want to be making sure that you're getting them tested and heartworm preventative, because to have 2, we very rarely, maybe get 1 heartworm dog a year, and to have 2 right back to back and coming from the same location, you may need to watch it if you've got dogs in that area and make sure you're getting them tested and preventative. But Beetlejuice is amazing. He's darn near the perfect dog.
He has such an amazing temperament. Like, he's so well behaved.
Before we got him fixed, so when we got him fixed, that was when he got heartworm tested, and we found out he was positive. So from that point, while he was being treated, the primary thing is you have to keep them calm. You can't let them be out running around and getting their heart rate up, because that's very, very dangerous. Yeah. So prior to him getting fixed, we had a lot of very good, friendly dogs here at that time that were all about the same size, the same age, and he was one of them, and we would have 5 or 6 of them up in the big yard romping and playing together, and they were having a blast. So we knew he was good with others. Yeah. And now that he's finished with his treatment, he's been able to come back out and play with the others again. And
which so I'm sure he's loving.
He's great with dogs. He's been around kids, and he's good with kids. He's not really a jumper. You'll sometimes think he's going to jump on you. He runs up to you, and you think, oh gosh, he's going to take me down. Yeah. And then he just kind of gently...
He just kind of puts his paws up on you. Yeah, he doesn't really jump. He's just like, oh, here I am.
Yeah, but So the main thing about Beetlejuice, as far as his adoption, is that he is going to have to stay on heartworm preventative for the rest of his life to keep him safe. So this is one of those situations where we wouldn't let him go to just anybody. We are going to be looking for someone who has a great vet reference. You're going to have had a vet that you've gone to that is able to tell us, yes, this person does what they need to do for their dogs and goes above and beyond. Yeah. Because he's going to need to make sure that he stays protected the rest of his life.
Yeah.
But
Totally
I think he's
understandable.
going to make somebody. He's so fun. He was out here rolling around a while ago.
He's amazing.
and romping. And
Yeah.
he's a great friendly dog. Somebody's going to have a lot of fun with him.
Yeah, and like even at one point I got him like playing where like kind of like play bite on you,
Yeah.
and he wasn't even being rough doing that. He's just so gentle.
Yeah.
He's a great dog.
The other thing about him is just kind of like with some of our long-haired cats and stuff, he does get matted up pretty easy.
Gotta brush him.
And so he's going to have to be brushed on a regular
Yep.
basis. He may need to go to the groomer and make
Yeah.
sure that he doesn't get all matted up and stays nice and smooth and silky.
Yes, he has a beautiful coat.
He
as long as
does.
you keep him maintained. Gotta brush him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's got that cute little stubby tail
Oh
at
yeah,
the end.
yeah, he's super fun. And there's one other thing you want to talk about. You mentioned wristbands off camera. You want to talk about
Okay.
that?
So we are planning an event at the end of June. It's going to be on June 30th
Okay.
from 5 to 8 p.m. We are hoping that this is going to be an annual event. That's what we're shooting for. We're calling it Cause for the Paws.
Okay.
And 2023 right now.
Yes.
So, putting that year on there
Yep.
and being hopeful it's going to work out. It will be held at the Encore in Lake Ozark.
Okay.
And we are going to be selling wristbands. We will have the wristbands here at the shelter and at the thrift store, and also they'll be available at Encore by calling them there for $20 each.
Okay.
The $20 wristband gets you into the event. There's going to be hors d'oeuvres served. There's
Ooh.
going to be prize drawings throughout the night.
Nice.
We're going to have a silent auction. There's going to be entertainment from the dueling pianos.
Oh wow.
And there will be a cash bar.
Nice.
And so we're really hoping to get a lot of people to come out and help support the animals, help with the, bid on things with the silent auction. We are looking for great auction items. So if you have something that you want to potentially donate, get a hold of it. We're going to try not to do duplicates of anything
Yeah.
really. And we're really trying to hope that we get like some, higher end, big ticket items.
Yeah.
But we're accepting things of all price
car,
ranges.
Things like that.
One thing that I know that we've got planned already is a boat ride that
nice.
somebody has donated. And from what I heard, the last time they did this, it went for like $1,500 at another event.
Okay.
So we're
That's
hoping
good.
we're hoping for some good auction items and some good bidders
Yeah.
to really help come support the cause. We're looking forward to it and hoping that, like I said, hoping that we can make this an annual event and do this yearly
I
and
can see
just
it being
expand
annual.
on
It's a
it each
great
year.
idea. I love that.
But yeah,
so again, that's June 30th?
June 30th,
Okay.
5 to 8 at the Encore.
Okay, perfect. And I imagine you're going to post on your Facebook about it.
Yeah,
It'll end up
we're
on your website.
Yep, it'll be on there as soon as we get by the time this airs, I'll
Yeah.
have the wristbands
Okay.
and everything should be on Facebook.
Perfect.
But we just don't have it out there right at the time
Yep,
that we're filming
yep.
this yet.
It happens. You got to make sure everything's
Yep.
finalized first. Yeah. All right. Well, perfect. If you'd like to adopt Beetlejuice or just come meet him, you should just meet him. Everybody needs to come meet him. He's super fun. You can swing by Ozarks Cat and Canine. You can also apply to adopt an animal at ozarkscatandcanine.com. And of course, follow them on Facebook. Make sure you hit that like button so that you can stay updated on all of the cool events. I'm excited for this event. I think it's going to be really successful.
I hope so.
Yeah,
that's what we
fingers
hope.
crossed. And if people have something that they want to add to your silent auction, how would they go about doing that?
For right now, I'm just going to say they can call the shelter,
Okay.
and we'll put them in touch with with the appropriate board member
Perfect.
to help get that lined up.
All right. Well, there you go. Let's get to an overwhelming amount of things for this silent auction. And of course, if you can't give, definitely attend the event. Get those wristbands and enjoy the hors d'oeuvres and, give into a good cause. This is a great cause. That is it for another Furry Friends presented by our veterinary here on Lake TV. Your furry friends are more than pets, they're family. And at our veterinary, we understand that. With multiple locations, we can service your pets when and where you need it. Our team of professionals offer routine wellness, orthopedic care from broken bones to joint repair, and even emergency services. We are ready to welcome your pet to our family with medical or preventative care. Our veterinary, with 6 convenient locations, the team providing exceptional care for your pet when and where you need it.
Ozarks Amphitheater, the exclusive attraction of Happy Hour. You're going to want to mark your calendars. We have Thursday, May 11th, Breaking Benjamin, special guest Bush, and Another Day Dawns. Also coming up Friday, June 16th, mark your calendar again, it's the Avett Brothers with special guest Government Mule. You can find out more about Ozarks Amphitheater and all of their tickets and get your tickets today at ozarksamp.com.
If it's happening at the lake, it's happening on Lake TV. From the polar plunge to festivals parades, Aquapalooza, and boat shows, Lake TV has it all. Even the granddaddy of them all, the shootouts. If you're looking for places to party, things to do, or even a new home to move into, you've gotta love Lake TV.
Thank you so much for joining us on Happy Hour today. Hope you enjoyed the show. Want to say thanks to our special sponsors, Ozark Barge and Dock. We couldn't do it without you. I want to say thanks also to our veterinary, keeping all of our pets happy and healthy. Surdike Yamaha for year-round fun. And I'm super excited to see all of the different things that we're going to be doing all summer long with Surdike Yamaha. And Ozarks Amphitheater. They are our exclusive attraction of Happy Hour, and they have a great lineup of shows already. Check them out online, ozarksamp.com. And again, thanks to all of our guests that we had on the show today. Thanks to Tom and Mary Kay from the Ozarks Amphitheater. Also, Professor Jim Paisley. Thank you so much for teaching us a little bit about the Missouri Mule. That was very, very interesting. And of course, that dog named Beetlejuice. Make sure you tune in each and every week to check out those furry friends to find out if maybe there's a pet out there that you need to have at your home. That might be a good idea. And join us next week on Happy Hour. We have Kara Gerdeman from Kids Harbor going to be talking about that big show and fundraiser. The Eyeberries are going to be playing there. So I'm excited that I get to be a part of the Kids Harbor event that's coming up. Also, Kevin Hilly's Talk of the Town. Always a fun time right here on Happy Hour with Kevin Hilly. Cracks me up every time that I hear him, so make sure you tune in for that. We also head out to an expo, and I go around and get free things all throughout the expo. It's a fun, fun time, so join us next week. And we have one more furry friend that's happening next week. Again, thanks to our veterinary for bringing that to us. All of that and more right here on Happy Hour on Lake TV. We'll see you guys next week. And remember, this week, try to be kind to one another. That sounds like a good idea. We'll see you next time right here on Happy Hour with your host, DJ Kyle. See you then.